arrests are happening. It's inevitable this time of year that we're going to have arrests for various reasons, and obviously I'm talking about the alcohol-related and festive-related offences. I wouldn't class it as a problem. Sometimes, no matter how much you put the message out, if people don't take heed of that, they're the ones that are going to end up being arrested. But there are lots of people out there who will listen and take in the message and go out and have a great time and drink responsibly.
And plan your journey home, etc., etc.
Massively
all
important.
The standard bits of advice.
Massively important. It gets so busy. I certainly know Friday night was very, very busy out and about. Been around a number of pubs, and they've been telling me how horrendously busy it was, and everyone was having a great time.
And no arrests last Friday.
Last Friday, no alcohol-related arrests, which is fantastic, considering how busy it was.
Saturday a little bit different.
Saturday's a little bit different, and it seems to be the norm on a Saturday, that it seems to be busier generally. So last Saturday was had some more arrests. We actually had 8 arrests in total, but half of them, 4 of them were related to alcohol-related offences, and that included one drink driver. And bear in mind, Saturday the weather was
horrendous.
Pretty horrendous. I was actually out and about on Saturday night working. I think I was, I don't know, either brave or foolish to actually do a bit of foot patrol around the pubs around North Quay at the beginning, where that's mostly where people generally start off. And my intention was to go out island wide after and visit the licensed premises there, but then I get caught up with all the trees come down. So that was a pretty poor night, and I know there were quite a lot of cancellations. Some parties were cancelled because of the poor weather, which is wise really, because it was pretty nasty. But
increasingly I'm hearing it referred to as not just drink driving but drug driving. So how many arrests have we had since the beginning of December? And I know it's a year-long campaign, but it's a real targeting at this time of year.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
We certainly focus a lot on this time of year, but as you're right in saying, it is a year-long campaign, so to speak. But I've had a look at the stats quickly before I came up here, and so from the 1st of December to today, which is the 18th, there've actually been 14 arrests. So that's a massive number of arrests, and I stress this is drink, drugs, or drunken charge of a vehicle. So it's very high. I haven't got the figures of the drugs and the drink, but I know the drug driving aspects were pretty high as well, so that's obviously a bit of a concern.
Got a big weekend coming up, and we're getting into the real part of the festive period now. People will be off work. Let's just re-emphasise the key messages, really.
Yeah, on behalf of the alcohol unit, the message is go out, enjoy yourself, have a good time. Just think about the risks and the consequences if you just go a little bit overboard on the alcohol and do something silly which you probably wouldn't do normally. It's that time of year. A lot of people go out that may not normally go out at a weekend and may just get involved in a little bit too much, too many bottles of Prosecco or whatever their favourite tipple is. But on a serious note, there are risks involved. Please plan your journey back home. It's so important. The bus services are great. A lot of the Douglas pubs will have leaflets saying when the last bus or the later buses are to your various destinations all over the island as well. The message is please just go and have a good time, but drink responsibly. And also, it's very important. It sometimes happens when people get a little bit too drunk and they shouldn't be drinking anymore. If they're told by a member of staff in any licensed premises, including door staff, they're not going to have any more alcohol, it's just simply accept that is the case. When people start to argue that fact, that is when it escalates and it tends to go a little bit further and it causes problems and anguish. These licensed premises, they mainly have your well-being in mind, And on top of that, they don't want to risk losing their license for over-serving people, because this is their livelihood and their jobs. So there's two folds in that. So please just take your advice from the licensed premises and staff. They've got your best interests in mind.
And we hope it's a festive Friday rather than a Black Eye Friday this weekend.
Yeah, I think we all may traditionally know it as a Black Eye Friday, but I think we're trying to think of it more of a festive Friday, and I'd imagine that will also spill out to the Saturday as well. It's traditionally going to be the busiest weekend of the year. Well, that's what we planned for. There'll be a lot of police officers out, a lot of police officers doing extremely long hours. Probably, I think the night crew will be doing at least 12-hour shifts. So I think of them as well. And they do a great job. Early intervention is key here. We don't want to be arresting people and putting them in the cells. That's last resort. So if the police officer might identify someone as being too drunk, and they will try and help, and assist that person, whether it's phone a parent or say, come on, you've had enough, get a taxi or whatever, get yourself home. Same advice. Take that advice. Don't argue the fact, because it would be sensible advice. Because last thing we want to have is people getting locked up and waking up with horrendous hangovers in the cells. We do not want that to happen. I think it's going to be inevitable, but I'd love it to have really low arrest figures this year.